Hi guys, I am chiming in to share my spin on a tuna sandwich. So just wanted to share real quick how I pull mine together and how I incorporate some greens to keep it a little healthy. So for starters, what I'm gonna start with is I have 2 cans of. I gotta tip this over so juice doesn't spill. But what I use for tuna is I like wild caught fish. I don't do farm raised, so this one is really good. It's a little what people would call on the pricey side, but it's a wild caught albacore tuna. I use 2 cans of that, and what I have on top is just 1 egg. And what I have here is I chopped up a little bit of basil. Got some organic basil there. I'm gonna move this stuff out my way as I share it. And then I chopped up some power greens. And power greens have in them baby chard, baby spinach, baby kale. So that's what's in this pack. So I'm leaning down because I positioned the camera to show the counter. So what I did was that's about a cup, a little under 8 ounces of veggies, and then I sliced up some red onion. And I'm hoping this bowl is large enough. So I'm gonna get to mixing this together by pouring in my greens first. Probably should have used a little bit bigger bowl, but I think I can make it work. So I'm gonna get that incorporated in there with the egg and the albacore tuna. And get my onions in there. I'll set that right there. I'm just gonna incorporate these together and get the albacore. I did, it does come a little solid packed in the can, so I tried to break it up a little bit. Hopefully you can see that right there. And it's a great way to sneak, if you get the kids to eat tuna sandwiches, to sneak in some greens. And just from the kids that I know that don't particularly like greens, and some of my friends' kids, what I found works is if they help make it, they'll try it. So I'm just getting that a little down in there before I add my next ingredient. Now, a lot of people may not do this, but I'm just gonna use a little bit of garlic. Garlic is good for cleansing, so I'm gonna say about a teaspoon. I'm gonna put in here. It's all about the flavor. You know, I go to my favorite place, one of my favorite places in Panera. They have theirs, and I always want to doctor it up with a little more flavor for me, which I am going to do. So we got that in there. And so next, the most important ingredient, relish. So I use a nice amount of relish, probably almost 2 tablespoons is what I will use. And I like to get a little of the juice from the jar in it. So I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna also add other stuff now that I have a little bit of the other ingredients incorporated in there. So I'm gonna use, oops, I'll turn it this way. I'm gonna use a little yellow mustard. Ooh, it was coming out because I had it upside down. I'll have to clean that off. Sorry about that. And I use a little Dijon mustard, which, so that the same thing doesn't happen. So depending on how much tuna you use, I kind of gauge how much mustard I will put in. So got both of those in, and then I'm going to use a little bit of mayonnaise. And I'm going to scoop this out. So I'm going to use, for now, about 2 of these spoon size. I don't want it a really wet tuna. So I'll use my cloth right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and put other things in here. Like I want some parsley. So I'm going to open up the larger end to get this in there. And then a little surprise ingredient I'm going to use is I'm going to use some dried cilantro. I love cilantro. You either love it or you hate it, I find most people. And I'm one of those people who love it, so you can leave it out, or any greens you can swap out for other things. But I love cilantro. And so I'm going to put some of that in here. So this salad is kind of like an herb one. So I'll put these to the side so I know that I use them. Then of course we got the black pepper, which gotta have pepper in here. And of course we're gonna have some salt. So you don't want to use salt and want to use something else like Mrs. Dash or whatever you use, that's great. So we got that. We'll move that out the way. And so now, let's get this stirred in. So now I'm going to stir it all in. I think the colors I use, it makes the sandwich look better. The tuna. Got the red. Say we should eat the rainbow. I try to make the rainbow. I'm going to be pretty close with this meal I'm making. So I'm going to get this all incorporated. I typically will do a taste test to see if it's basically enough salt in here. Especially having 2 cans of tuna. I'm not worried about my salt intake as others might be. So I'm going to test this. Another thing that you can do, which I have done, is you can put some cayenne pepper if you want to give a little spice to it. But I have another little method I'm going to share to give it just a little bit of kick to it. I'm sorry, I'm moving all out of the camera here. But look at that. I just want to make sure I break down this tuna and get all these ingredients incorporated in here. Now this should have some nice flavor to it. You know, while I'm stirring this, I'll just share a little bit about my search for basil. You know, it seems to be the hardest to find organic basil, because I only buy organic greens. So I have a hard time, and a lot of people are doing it, buying it, and of course there are a lot of people who are starting their own herb gardens, which when I move, I plan to have an herb garden. And basil is definitely, along with cilantro and parsley, are my main three that I plan to grow. A lot of people are doing pestos now. It's just crazy. I go in and no basil. But anyway, I think I have that incorporated all pretty nicely. I have a fruit fly, horrible fruit fly in here, even though it's cold out. So, as you can see, I want the tuna to not be real wet like, you know, some people may make it with the mayonnaise. I just want a little bit, as you can see here. Some people will add, I do have some sweet cranberries, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm not that big of a fan of fruit and tuna, but look at that. So I'm gonna taste. Let's see. Happy dance. Okay, it's good. All right, so what I have here, get my plate ready. I rarely shop at Kroger, but was in Kroger and I saw this nice looking artisan white bread, and it's non-GMO. I always look for organic and non-GMO products, always. So I'm gonna take, look how large this piece is. I'm gonna take that piece. Now, some people could put two of these together and have a nice sandwich. I'm not doing that. So I'm gonna cut it down the center here. And, because I love getting my greens in. I'm going to take a handful of my power greens that I chopped up in there. Move my plate over. And I'm going to put it right there. I would put tomato on this, but I'm just going to go for it as is. Let me get some of this mayonnaise off this spoon. I'll use this spoon instead of sticking the fork back in. I notice little things like that when people create videos. I did wash my hands, and I'm in my house, but still I get grossed out by some things. So basically, I'm going to add my tuna to my sandwich. Oh, nice. I've been fasting all day, so I want a nice amount on here. So I'm a little hungry. And so, look at this little piece over here. So, got that. And I'm going to put my little other piece here. Let's see. And instead of going to Panera, I did Panera at home. Just add some of these chips. what I pair it with. Something's missing. Oh, I forgot to show you what I was talking about when I was talking about adding a little spice. I'm going to add this on top. Just some mild banana peppers, non-GMO. And so basically, these are red instead of the typical yellow you see. Just kind of lay a few. Oops, breaking my bread over here. So soft. Just lay a few pieces on top of my sandwich. Get that back on top of there. And I just thought of something else that I could have brought out. 1 minute. Look at there. Yum, yum, yum. These come from Meyer. And I think as opposed to the typical, I think Vlasic pickles like this are $1.99, $2.99. Yeah, because these were $1 more, and I'd rather spend $1 more for organic than non-organic. But that's just me. So look at that. One more thing to top it off. It is fall, so I have a carrot, banana, pineapple smoothie. So I thought I'd share that. Look at that. It is really orange here, but on the camera as I look at it, it's not as orange. But added a little agave to this, and I also added some of my collagen to it. So this will be my drink. Another healthy spin here. So just thought I'd share my twist on my tuna sandwich. And bon appetit. Bye now.